I am live. I am Ive. Yeah. What up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about, hopefully, this is our last live specifically related to the AC200 Max. We're also going to talk about a couple other things. Let's just leave it at that. So I've realized that a format for this is that, it takes about a good 4 minutes to get into the content. So for anybody who's here early and doesn't like the people who's in the chat because you don't know them, just give me about 3 minutes and then we'll get into the content. So people are saying congrats. What are y'all saying congrats for? What did I do? Did I win a prize? Did YouTube tell y'all that I'm bossing up or something? What's going on? I got a little bit of a surprise for y'all too. What's up, Miss Queen? You and those eyes. Did you pre-order? My understanding, okay, MJ is just going to push me right into it. My understanding is that the pre-order is only available during a set amount of time. And then Brother Wayne told me that there's a limited number of units as well. So I may get one, I may not get one, but I think the pre-order is tomorrow. Hey, Courtney, what's happening? All in the soul. I know you're around here somewhere. South Padre, what's happening? Candace L. So she's from Lancaster, PA. I'm in PA as well. That's pretty cool. Shai Zahavi. I like that name. That's a cool name. What's going on, man? Oh, somebody, was it 1N? I saw her comment in the replay. Wait. Let's talk about this. Because I had issues with this last time. People were saying that my mic was pretty hot and I heard it. It's like, it was very abrasive. So how does it sound now? I don't know how to explain it, but I heard it in the last live. And it's the same microphone. The only thing that has changed is the camera. The only thing I can think is that the camera is causing something weird with the microphone, or it resets some settings or something. But I don't know, man. I hope so. Thank you, David. I hope it sounds good. We're going to see. Kimberjack, what's happening? I actually confused Kimber's for you in some one of the lives. I know she was probably like, I don't have no HQST panel, but she was a good sport about it. She did not correct me, but you guys can correct me. Somebody told me they were a woman and not a man. Forgive me. I do my best to try to attribute orientation or sex to you guys' names, but without icons and stuff, I don't know. So forgive me. Oh, hey, Kathy, what's going on? Alpha, Shay, what's up? What am I ordering? I don't even want to say hopefully. The plan is to order the AC200 Max tomorrow during the pre-order. Yeah, see, Sleeper, your mic boost is still high from last week. Yeah, I don't know how to change that either. I wonder if I have settings. And I'm sure you're right, because I listened to it and I was like, ugh, that's abrasive. Let me see what kind of options I have here. I could break the whole live doing this, honestly. So we'll see how it goes. How long does the pre-order last? I don't know. Thank you, Shay. I'm not sure. Wayne was telling me that they only have a certain amount of numbers. I'm not married today. My wife comes up here, she gonna be fine, but I'm not married today. Kimber Jack says, oh, so yes, HQFT has had me purchase a whole new solar panel junction box to get the cover, and then they refunded the purchase. Okay, that works. That's nice of them. I got to figure out this mic situation, man. I'm not a fan. Y'all bear with me. Realtek headphones, test your microphone, app volume and device preferences, master, blah, 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 blah. Open volume mixer. That's just headphones. I need to find some microphone properties. Set up your mic for speech recognition. Shoot. All right, give me like another minute or so to see if I can figure this out. I know, right, Courtney? I used to know where all of this stuff was in like 7 before Windows 10 got all fancy and started putting everything into their settings instead of the PC settings. Boop, 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 boop. Open sound settings. I see test my microphone, manage sound devices, smart microphone, external microphone, disable. Dang, I wish this wasn't a problem. Shoot. Yeah, Windows 10 did jack a lot of stuff up. I know I'm not going to like the sound. I have to bring the sound when I'm listening to the live a little bit lower than I'd like to because it just sounds so abrasive. What's up, Sunday Backyard Farmer? Oh, so wait. What were you guys congratulating me on? The Go Labs still working? What was that about? Sal Padre says, whoa, congrats. Southern Boy, Northern Living. Hello, I do live music setups. Just move your mic lower on your shirt. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. You saw me pull my shirt down a little bit. Broke Farmer, what's up, my man? Good to have you. Broke Farmer 76 is, I don't know how to describe him. He's a farmer who like grows stuff on his land. I came across his channel because he got recently got an EcoFlow, so I checked him out. I thought his name was peculiar because it's so close to Lead Farmer. I ain't giving you no shade, Broke Farmer, but there's a channel that I follow that a lot of people in here follow, which is Lead Farmer 73. So when I saw Broke Farmer 76, I was like, that's peculiar. Ulysses, what's happening, brother? I see you're thinking about pulling the trigger on the Max. Do you have to purchase it that way or just wait until it comes out? If you did, congratulations. Oh, no. So the pre-order starts tomorrow. Let's just go ahead and get into it officially. The mic is what it is. Wait, give me a second. Let me see if I could just run the mic further away from me. It's going to have to be on the outside, I believe. Unless I do an ugly pinch in my shirt. Wayne sends me that music all the time because I take forever to decide on stuff. I'm hot, man. I'm hot. All right, does that sound any better to the people who have their ears tuned to the abrasive? I think Sleeper was one that pointed it out. Southern Boy, Northern Living. What do you think? Does it sound any better? I was hoping to get into. Can you guys hear me okay? Is that worse? Did I make it too low? Like, what's the consensus here? A little better. Dang, that sucks. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. We're gonna have to rock out. I have my old camera right here in this room that I come out in. I was thinking about just putting in the old camera, but I don't know. I didn't have time to test. I wanted to test, but Mrs. Ask Ive, as y'all affectionately calls her, um, she sent me down into the basement to get a load of clothes. I'm like, bruh, bruh, I'm already hot from running around the house. And then she made me run around the house more. All right. Sounds about the same. All right. Thanks, Kimberjack. I did my best. I'll figure it out. I'll test tomorrow for sure in depth and figure out what's going on with this setup. Okay, some people are saying better, not peaking anymore, a little better. As long as it's not peaking, I'm good for that. What's up, Sertman? Hello from Germany. Greetings from America. Oh, Alpha asks, are you running a Mac? No, I just have a regular, this is going to annoy me. I have a regular, just Lenovo laptop. It's actually my wife's laptop. I used to be, I shouldn't say I've ever been a Mac guy, but I had an iBook G4. I was impressed with that. I ordered it sight unseen. Apple has not done anything as impressive or as captivating as that computer in a long time. The MacBook Air was impressive when it first came out. I was compelled, but it only had 2 ports. But anyway, how much time we in? I can did 11 minutes. Jeez, I'm gonna have to put markers in this one. All right, the AC200 Max. Let's just recap real quick. I wanted to get like a a bigger portable power station. I was looking at the AC200P, then the AC200 Max was announced, and I eventually, in the process of like kind of just checking that out, I decided that I needed to get a bigger power station because I need to be able to power certain things around my house that I couldn't if we lost power for an extended amount of time. So I like that the AC200 Max or the AC Max, I'm going to shorthand it. They improved it so the voltage range is lower on the bottom end, but it's the same on the top end. So that means I can use a single panel on that device versus the ACP, which needs 2 panels in series, or a 24 volt panel. 24 volt is arranged much like 12 volt is arranged. And those 24 volt panels typically operate at about 36, 37 volts. Don't quote me on that. I just know it's higher than 24 exact volts. The reason why I explain that is because some devices say, hey, you can put in 12 to 30 volts or 12 to 25 volts. But you have to pay attention to the voltage open circuit, which is sometimes really high on 24 volt panels. And if you plug a 24 volt panel, which operates at like 36, 37, and possibly spikes even higher, you could ruin your device. So I can put a single panel into it. That's super useful to me because if I wanted to put one 12 volt rich solar panel into it, 200 watts, I could do that. I wouldn't get 200 watts. That's under standard testing conditions. That's what STC stands for. I just learned today from David Paz. He has a channel that deals with like solar and powering his home off the grid and stuff like that. He said, and I never thought about this, sometimes conditions can be better than standard test conditions. So even though they say your voltage open circuit is like 47 volts, you can get up to 48 or 49 volts. So you have to be very careful about that. If you just mess around with portable power stations, you don't have to. But it's just something to keep in mind. I learned that. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's good to know. Another reason why I consider the AC Max is its starting price for the pre-order is pretty much the same, maybe $100 difference as the AC200P. So I was never going to pay $2,100 for it, which is what it's going to be after the pre-order. I almost wish they had a Kickstarter now that I'm in the market for one, because that Kickstarter on that AC200, it was $1,199. Can you imagine that? People got that device for $1,200. 2,000 watt inverter, 1,700 watt hours of battery capacity. I was jealous. I learned that from Jehu's video. I was watching AC200P reviews because someone in the last live said that the AC inverter was inefficient. So that gave me cause for pause. David Paz's review basically showed that I don't know if the AC inverter is more efficient, but he got a good amount of battery out of the device, a good amount of capacity out of the device. He got 1,800 watts out of 2,000 watts. And Bluetti let him know that that's because the battery rating that we see as customers, there's more battery capacity in there. The reason why that's important is because the BMS, the battery management system, stops you from taking the last 10%. And then there's some power that's lost on the conversion from DC, the battery itself, which is DC, to AC, your inverter, which is similar to your wall socket. So that kind of got me back over on the side of the device. Now, I do still have some problems with that device. Not big problems, but I'm a best bang for my buck kind of guy. I don't like the price per watt hour. It is 85 cents per watt. I'm not a fan of that. I like my deals to be a lot better than that. But here's the issue, and this has always been the issue. The AC, Bluetti, and this is a tip of the hat to them. Bluetti really in that price point has no competition because they use LiPo batteries. So they're really only competing with themselves. People are only mad at Bluetti because they come out with better devices that are better than their devices. Delta's not competing with them in that price range. Jackery is definitely not competing with them in that price range. Just bang for buck. You know, some people like Jackery for different reasons. So I was curious about the inverter efficiency. I was kind of put at ease as much as I can be because it's an untested device, right? It's supposed to be very similar internals, the same battery, possibly the same inverter. Hopefully they made it better so I could be more impressed or pleasantly surprised, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Tippy says the AC200Max is limited to the first 500 for the pre-order price. Good luck with that. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Courtney Jackson. Get out of here. Wow, save the coin for sure, says MJ. Georgia, I didn't understand the Kickstarter. Can you explain that? Was it the earlier you ordered it, the less it was? Pretty much. I was afraid to jump in because I didn't understand the process. Yeah, that's essentially a Kickstarter is like investing in a company to get their product off the ground. So they have an idea, they don't have money to do the R&D or whatever. So they invite people who believe in that particular project to fund that project. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, things like that. So you pledge a certain amount, and if that thing comes to fruition, you get your product. I imagine if it doesn't come to fruition, you get your money back. Maybe, I don't know. I can't speak to it not working out. I've never been involved in a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo, but that's essentially what's going on there. Georgia Life. Jamila. I hope that's how you say that. My sister-in-law's name is kind of close to that. I'm looking into getting a solar panel and portable station. What should I get? What should I look for? I'm new to this. Jamila, after this live or after you've spent as much time as you can tolerate of me, go to my channel and watch my video I made on buying advice for portable power stations. That should kind of get you, kind of on a good heading. Jackie, did I miss something you said before? Okay, what state are you in, Jackie? I'm in PA. Or should I say, what disaster do you deal with? Natural. That's an interesting way to look at it. All we really deal with up here is snow. We may have a lingering storm kind of come through from the Carolinas and DC and work its way my way, but we don't really have much. Black Plumber, what's going on, man? I bought the Tenergy 300. Did anybody else? That's cool, man. Somebody, I think his name was Jack or John, He was a big fan of that device. He was in a good comment where he was explaining some things about his experiences. You know, I think it's a cool device. When I want to get the best bang or maximize my dollar, I ended up getting the Go Labs, but the Go Labs was quirky. The Tenergy seemed a little more solid, but it had its limitations. Jackie's telling Jamila she should get the River X. What's the River X? I don't know what that is. Sertman says, I want to buy the EcoFlow River Pro, but I want to wait for a discount. Would you prefer another generator in this class? I like the EcoFlow River Pro. It's a tough decision between that and the EB70. Yeah, it's a tough call. I have both of them. I don't have the Pro, but the Pro is the max is the base outside of capacity. Oh, Sleeper is reminding you guys to thumbs up the video. Courtney says, I don't know why he said as much as you can tolerate. I may not be everybody's cup of tea, you know how that goes. The River Max, okay. That's the one that Jackie suggested to Jamila, the River Max. I talked about that River Max in my last video. Who was it brought it up? Somebody brought it up. My issue with the River Max was principled, very principled, because the device retails for $249. It is often on sale for $199. It's been on sale for $199, and the EcoFlow River base model has been as cheap as $250. So if you think I'm gonna buy a battery for $250, when I could have got the whole device for $250, like, you're crazy. Now, what I did say in one of my lives, it's funny that you bring up the Max. The Max always comes up. What I did say in one of my lives is, if I could ever get that River Max extended battery for like $150, I will buy it off top. And oddly, I did. So yeah, there's that. I have a River Max. I'm so tickled by that. Because of the kindness of one of my viewers, I was able to get the River Max, the extended battery, for a price that made sense to me. So thank you to that viewer. I salute you. Your kindness is anonymous, but it is grand. Thank you so much. Thank you. So that's what I think about the River Max. I had a very principled issue with it because of how cheap I've seen the EcoFlow. And I've actually seen the EcoFlow cheaper than that in the Facebook group. It was only one time to my knowledge, but it has gone as cheap as like $190. It was like a benefit to that community, but it's like, once I get it in my mind that something costs a certain price, you'd be hard pressed to convince me otherwise. So $250 is my base. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm always honest with you. I don't know why I say that. It's a bad habit. I'll be forthright with you. If the EcoFlow base model was at that $280 price point, I probably would have got another EcoFlow. I wouldn't have got the extra battery. So, Candace L, they hear your message. The EcoFlow Pro is, yeah, we could show that. I don't know why YouTube be hating. I guess if you mention a certain store, A to the Z, as yet. Oh, thank you, the truth lady. What did I miss about the Bluetti? Soon to get my land. Need to know. What do you mean, soon to get my land? Thank you so much for the super chat, the truth lady. I gotta make this bigger. Struggling over here. What's up, Gary? Can you put that closer to the screen so I can screenshot it? Guess what? It's heavy. All right, let me oh, jeez. My gosh. Oh, there you go. There you go. How's that for a thumbnail, right? I mean, outside of the foolishness surrounding it, that's a pretty good thumbnail. Whew. It's heavy. It's heavy. I don't have well, I do have a scale. So maybe I'll weigh it compared to the EB70. That EB70 is heavy. The Bluetti EB70, for those who don't know. Every time I grab it, almost every time I bump it into something because I'm just not used to its throwing its weight around like that. All of my power stations are light. LA Gun, what's happening? I got the EcoFlow River Pro and the extra battery for $649 when it was on sale at Costco some months ago. The normal cost of the unit is $649 and the battery is $399. Bam. That was a good deal. Shoot. I was not in the market. I did not have that coin, man. I did not. But that was a good deal. I'm glad that people were able to take advantage of that. I heard about it and I made a video ASAP Rocky because I was like, yo, Wayne's laughing. Wayne gives me a hard time because I'm hard on that Max. Dean Whittle, the River Max is not LiPo, right? None of them currently are LiPo. The only one that was LiPo was the R600 Kickstarter version, the Pro. I was confused about that too. I actually made a whole video. I thought it was LiPo, and then I had to like kind of clean it up because I was wrong. One of my viewers who viewed that video let me know. Shah says, how much is the AC200 tomorrow? It's $16.99. Oh, I feel uncomfortable with that price. They can drink coffee then. All right, scrolling up. Give me a second. Hey, what's up, Wayne? What up, Ive? Says Robert. I never got a full opinion on the Energy Apex. How would you compare it to the EB70? Yeah, I don't know much about it. I don't think the only person who I've seen talk about it is Canadian Prepper. And Canadian Prepper has been, I'm not saying he's affiliated with them, but he's been one of the channels that have talked about the energy products over the years, the Apex, the Kodiak, and the Flex. I don't know much about it. It's still not for sale. The thing has been coming out for what feels like 2 years. And it's just like, what are you doing? All right, got the screenshot. Say what up. Okay. The EcoFlow Pro is on sale. Coupon now on Amazon for $579. It's been $550 though, so I kind of look at that one sideways. But $579 is good. Anybody who wanted that EcoFlow Pro, Cowdog Connoisseur has been in the market, and I sent it to her the minute I saw it because I know she's been in the market. It's a good price. I mean, you know. Jamila says, should I get more than one solar panel and power station? That depends. I'm a 2 is 1, 1 is none kind of guy. From watching like prepper videos. So whenever I leave the house with 2 knives and 2 flashlights and 2 phones. If I'm being honest, 3 phones. But you know. Oh man, MJ says, I really appreciate this live. As per par, this week is cheeks. How's your refrigerator situation pan out? I know you told me about some things, but is it good? Are we good to go? What's up, Ben? Everything. I haven't read your comment. I just saw your name. B3 Outdoors. What's happening? Sir says, do you lose power if you use a longer cable? I mean, the cable from your solar panel to your generator. You can, but it's not much. You have to make sure your gauge is high enough. I went with a 10 gauge 50-foot cable, and somebody smarter than me, I think it may have been Blood Gaze, told me that the amount of wattage I'm getting into the EB70 is like on par with if I had a longer, higher gauge cable. And higher is thinner. Higher is not necessarily better. The lower it goes, the thicker it is. So I got a 10 gauge. I have 12 gauge cables, like 20 foot and 15 foot and 10 foot. I think they're 12, but they may be 10 too. Because I tend to, bars. I tend to get 10 gauge if I can, just to future proof myself. So it'll be like one will be like 70 cents a foot, and then the other one might be 79 cents a foot. And it's just like, yeah, it costs more, but it's more future proof. I like being future proof. But the truth lady is buying some land. Oh, okay, soon to get some land. Need to know. What did I miss about the Bluetti? You didn't miss much, but the truth lady, if you want to go back, you can. I started talking about it at about the 11-minute mark, and then you can 2x the speed to get caught up. One in. I apologize for I hate to laugh when I say that, but some of that stuff can be ridiculous for misgendering you. I do my best. I think you're the one I messed up the name. I called you a he when you were like, somebody was like, I ain't no he over here. The truth lady, I think, let me say this. The AC200 Max is a good place to start. I feel like it has no contemporaries other than its predecessor, the AC200P, which costs the same amount as the AC200 Max is going to cost at pre-order. So it's like $15.99. It might be $16.99 with like an $80 coupon on it, and then when the AC200 Max comes out tomorrow, it's going to be $16.99. So I said on the live many lives ago, not like I've had a lot. I'm not going to order the AC200P because I wanted to see what the AC200 Max is. But I'm really picky. People can buy stuff and be happy with it. Not everybody feels jaded because they didn't get the latest and greatest. B3 says the EcoFlow looks cool. I know. I changed the colors on it to just that solid blue. And I took the brightness all the way down because I was just going to turn the light off. The app is cool too, I must admit. I've always used the app to manage it, but I don't like connecting it to the device to the Wi-Fi. But that's a whole thing. I could get into that if somebody's curious, but yeah, that's a whole thing. MJ says, I put my EB70 on a trolley dolly without the basket. I can roll it around so easy. That sounds dope. I don't know what a trolley dolly is. I don't know why you use both of those words. I think down in New Orleans, we call shopping carts baskets. And my wife gives me a hard time every time I say I need a basket. And she's like, it's a cart. And I'm like, whatever. Planes on a snake. Bean, what's happening? Got to beef up your lithium lifting muscles. I guess so, man. This thing is not light. It takes some adjusting to. I was picking it up like, geez. It's like carrying around the EB70 a bit. David B, have you ever tried the Alway? No. I may have looked at it because I'm always looking at power stations. Kimber Jack, did you figure out how many watts your fridge is? No, my fridge is in that nook and it's going to be in that nook till it dies. I'm not going to pull it out. I fear that if I pull it out, it's going to stop working. I cleaned my fridge like maybe a summer ago just to improve efficiency. Hopefully it wouldn't burn up so fast. And, thank God it's still running. Man, everything says he missed the notification. He was shopping. Shit, man. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. Jamila, what should I know about the prices with solar panels and portable power stations? Typically, a good baseline is stuff costs about $1 per watt. And that's even the old baseline. It's starting to get to a point where panels can still cost you that. Rigid panels. I focus on rigid panels. I don't really do a whole lot of folding panels. I was given a folding panel by Agwe to review. I was able to purchase a SunPower panel because of the kindness of one of my viewers, which is a flexible panel or a non-rigid panel. So it's flat. But rigid panels, $1 per watt. Power stations, typically about 85 cents per watt, 90 cents per watt. When you start getting into like off the beaten path, they can be about 70 cents per watt, which is a good deal, but you got to tread carefully because, yeah. Joe Trot, what's happening, brother? LA Gun says I have the AC200P and love it. I'm waiting for the EcoFlow Delta Pro. See, it's like, man, if you could be happy with it, man, I'm happy for you. And that dip is nice. No shade to the AC200P. It has a 60-watt PD port. I'm not a fan of that, but it'll get the job done. But I wanted 100 because whatever computer I get next, I want to make sure that I can power it off of purely USB-C. Georgia Life, I'm aggravated with my Bluetti 200 watt. I have what Bluetti 200 watt, 2000 watt. I have 4 Renogy 100 watt panels in series hooked up to it, and it only pulls 10 to 60 watts at a time. I even tried the Bluetti 200 watt panel, same 10 to 60 watts. Is in sun. That's wild. Oh, somebody brought up the Energizer. I wanted to talk about that Energizer B3. Have you checked out the Energizer 320 LiFo power station for $239? I have. Dr. D is asking when will they discount the 200p? I hope. That makes sense. But they may not. Maybe it'll go down to like $1,400 or $1,499 because that AC200Max is going to shoot up to $2,099, I believe. One in one. Yep, I ain't know he. LA says thanks. I did not understand the gauges differences before. Very helpful. Also, the AWG, just I think it stands for American Wire Gauge or something like that. I can't spell gauge right the first time, no matter how hard I try. I always get it wrong. Thanks for the update, MJ. Miss Queen, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. I like that, but I don't want to walk around with 2 guns. Oh, you got me to say guns on my live. How dare you, Mrs. Queen? I was thinking that in my mind, but I feel the same way about that. But I don't think you should walk around with 2. Maybe you should. Maybe you should. Maybe you should. Let me scroll down and get caught up here. Edwin says, speaking of fridge, the Tenergy's plug is not deep enough for the Bouge RV fridge. The Go Labs has that same problem. Go Labs, in dealing with that problem, provides people with a little adapter. Now, I don't own a DC fridge, but that was the reason why they did it, because the hole was too short. So that's interesting that Tenergy does not have a leg up on it in that regard. Interesting. MG says a trolley dolly is a small version of a hand truck, aluminum and plastic. It folds and is used to transport groceries from car to house. I gotcha. A trolley dolly. Boom. Who knew? B3's first job was collecting shopping carts at Walmart, not shopping baskets, right? People are weird. In New Orleans, we're kind of weird. You know what I mean? I just have to admit it. We're weird. We're weird. We say, when we want a sandwich, I say dressed because I'm a New Orleanian, but you would just say, can I have a sandwich with mayo, lettuce, and tomato? We say, can I get a sandwich dressed? Dressed means mayo, lettuce, and tomato. So we say dressed with cheese. There's a funny video that I can't find of this dude from the Inno going through a McDonald's, and he's asking for a very complex order. And he's like, let me lay up there and get a number 1 dressed as a number 2 with cheese. And she's like, excuse me? And he's like, let me lay up there. Sorry. That Chalky Girl, I've been stalking your channel lately, yet I'm so confused. Do you have a suggestion for running a dorm-sized fridge? My dorm-sized fridge it spikes up to about 440 watts. It may rain today too, guys, so we'll spend as much time as we can, but it may rain. There's rain on the horizon, and it looks just like it did last time when I got ran in the house. My dorm fridge is older. We've had that thing for a very long time. It spikes up to 450 watts or so. It settles at about 70. So Whatever power station can run it for as long as you want it to run it and can absorb that surge, you should be good to go. Anything like I run it off the EB70, 200 watts, 200 watts. A 200-watt panel pulls in about 143 watts. I have the Rich Solar 200-watt panel. So that pretty much runs my fridge all day when I have it down in the basement, which is all the time. Okay. Georgia Life, I hope you updated me. I'm scrolling down now. Ban everything. If you have a higher voltage, 48 volts with panels in series, you can use the higher gauge, smaller wires for longer runs. 12-volt systems need large gauge wire. I think this is right. Yeah, you're onto something. I have to collect my thoughts to explain that. When I was watching back my last live about how I would hook the panels up for the AC200 Max, I was talking about series and parallel, and something that I have to take into account. Actually, Armand talked about like amps and stuff like that. It was good advice, but I'm going to ignore it anyway because it was too much for my mind to process. But yeah, there's something to how you hook up your panels and then the type of wires that you need to hook up your panels. I don't think in this area that we kind of live in, if we're not DIYers, we need to worry about that too much. But it's something worth considering. Dr. D, since the 200 Max is coming out, do you think they will discount the 200p? I hope so. I hope so. Okay, you said okay. Thank you. All right. Joe Trot says I'm going to put 3 rigid panels on a fixed frame this weekend. Nice. I don't know anything about rocket stoves, Jackie. She asked, what do you think about the Watchman rocket stove? When Lead Farmer 73 talked about his rocket stove, in general, I looked for it. I talked to my wife about it too, because it goes for about $80, at least the one that he mentioned. I talked to my wife about it and seeing if she would kind of be on board, just kind of like filling her out, because she would have to cook on it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't fry anything or pan fry. I could prepare food, but I'm no cook. So, umbrella. Courtney says, my best friend from Texas says made groceries, which means went food shopping. When she first said it to me, I was confused. Yeah, we say that, make groceries. That's interesting. Is that recent, Courtney Jackson? Because I feel like a lot of people are transplanted to Texas because of Hurricane Katrina. And I wonder if she picked that up from New Orleanians, because that's how we talk. I got to go to the store to make groceries. One N says, I think you should have a DC fridge. I do too. My wallet doesn't agree. Robert said, no, it's 1 Pistol Pete, 2 knives. Oh, okay. 2 is 1, 1 is none. Sleeper says, I'm looking for the best panel for my EcoFlow Pro. I always say any, but I'm assuming that people know what they're doing. Any 12-volt, 100-watt panel with MC4 connectors. Any 2 of those is perfect in parallel, so you're going to need to buy a parallel cable. Or any 1 12-volt, 200-watt panel with MC4 connectors will be fine for the EcoFlow. Perfect. Jamila says, why not folded solar panels? Is there something wrong with it? Why rigid panels? Rigid panels are rated to last you for years. Like, they talk about 25 years on a rigid panel. And they are they are kind of weatherproof. They're waterproof. I leave them out all the time. They're made to be out in the elements. They can get damaged, sure. Hail comes through, a certain amount of hail, a certain size of hail, they can break them. But rigid panels are extremely durable and they last a very long time. So I like rigid panels. I'm all about set it and forget it. My two-step garden. Okay. Get that cadence right. Hey, semi-new to your channel. Well, thanks for joining the live. I appreciate you. You're welcome, Sleeper. B3 says, I bet the AC200Max will be $200 off once it's fully released. I hope so, especially after a few months. That seems to be a trend if we would follow the AC200P, because I'm pretty sure that thing was like the same price. And then it was like perpetually like $19.99 on Amazon when it hit Amazon. So Black Plumber says, I'm getting a rock stove next month. Nice. We have a grill. At some point, I need to go get some more charcoal. So we do have a method to cook. Now, what we can cook on a grill, yeah. But I like the idea of the rocket stove. Here's the thing, man, about the DC fridges. I don't necessarily need one. I don't need one. So, actually, give me a second. I'm still here. But I don't want to have all these problems trying to get all this stuff inside. So I'm going to put you right there. Put you over here. All right. I think I'm good to make a run inside if I need to. The family is here, so if I have to go inside, I'm pretty much shut down because I can't sit in the living room and do a live. BG says mini fridges are a fraction of the price as a DC fridge. Yeah, I would almost rather a mini fridge. You could get a mini fridge used for who knows how little. It's like, what's the, it uses a little more power, 65 watts. Versus what? The DC fridges use like 30, 40, and then they drop down. So it's a little bit less, but for $200 extra, that's what I mean about like how DC fridges are not necessarily designed for home use. They're designed to be that certain shape that can easily fit in the car. They're designed to be portable, designed to be compact. You pay for all of that. And when you don't necessarily need it, if you're just buying a fridge for your house, get a dorm fridge. I don't think the savings in the amount of watts used is worth spending a whole extra $200. But I could be wrong because there's some math to that. Like if you have old inefficient devices, it's worth it to just go ahead and upgrade them, especially if they're starting to have problems because they cost you a lot of money in power. Again, I've done the math at some point and it does make sense at some point, but don't go out there and just buy new stuff because it's more energy efficient. Do the math. All right. Let me look at my notes. Oh, let me give y'all an update on my HQST panels. Tell you how these people played me. I'm not bitter about it, but I reached out to them. There's a way to message them on Amazon about my order, and I was like, hey, I ordered this thing. I haven't gotten it yet, and my viewers who I suggested it to are getting theirs, and I haven't gotten mine yet. And I ordered mine the first at the first sight of it. I think I may have shared it with you guys and didn't order mine, or I may have ordered it beforehand. But I'm like, what the heck is going on? So they hit me back and was like, yeah, we're sorry. We're so sorry. The order never went to our warehouse. We're going to try and get it to you as soon as possible. We offer our sincere apologies or something like that. Cool. I dig it. Now, no problems really. It's supposed to come tomorrow per their message to me, but FedEx tracking says that it's still in California and it just shipped, so it's not slated to get here until like next Wednesday. So I replied to them again like, hey, y'all said it was going to be here Friday. Granted, I understand that's an estimate, but I'm just looking forward to getting my panel. It's been almost freaking 2 weeks now. To be reasonable, the delivery range, they are within my delivery range, but it's just like the thing seeing my viewers who have ordered it get theirs sucks. You know what I mean? I was like, I want to get mine too. The Watchman rocket stove is $5.99. What? Wayne says there are full-size DC fridges out there. Yeah, Minuteman Prep just did a video on that, but you saw it. I just want to mention that for the people watching. But that dip is expensive too. Kimber Jack, you still haven't gotten it? I still haven't gotten it. Y'all would have knew about it if I got it. The minute I get it, I'm gonna do some type of video. I don't know what would be appealing, but I'll figure something out when it comes here. Jamila says, "Thank you very much, Ban Everything. I will get portable and rigid panels." There you go. Ban Everything is a gentleman and a scholar. He's super helpful. He says, "I just bought a 100-watt HUST monocrystalline panel for 170. So, 190 watt for my two Bluetti EB70s. I hope they send mine." I have two Mighty Max poly panels and another HUST panel like I have. Okay, like Ask God has. Everything has increased in price. What's an example, the truth lady? Oh, hey, what's up, Young Blood? What's up, everyone? That's a very fitting name to call me Young Blood. So hopefully my HQST panel comes soon, right? Oh, another thing is the weight is off. Now, I don't know if it's some type of arbitrary thing in the FedEx page, but the weight says 12 pounds. That panel is not 12 pounds. These 100-watt panels over here are more than 12 pounds. They're like 15. So, I don't know. I wonder if they sent me the wrong panel. Keep it a buck. I hope they send me the wrong panel, and then they have to send me the right panel, and I get a free panel out of the deal. But I think it's probably some type of arbitrary thing that they have going on, but FedEx is not giving me the proper information about the thing. My name is Ive. Right, Kimber Jack says this is definitely not 12 pounds. I think it's more like 25. Jamila says, so does that mean rigid solar panels don't have the same cords, outlets, USB ports? Rigid panels do not have anything but two wires coming out of them, and they typically have MC4 on the end. MC4 on rigid panels is water. It's a waterproof connection. So the junction box is waterproof. I think it's IP65. So my assumption is that you don't want to lay those panels flat on their face in the rain. I would never do that. But I think they're waterproof enough that when you lay them on the right side, which is panel facing up, they won't get wet and the water won't impact them, because that junction box on the back it does have some type of rubber seal in it. I actually never opened one, and you probably should, just to make sure everything looks good in there, but I never have. As long as it gives me the power that I need to get, it's cool. Man, these clouds are coming in. Y'all see it getting dark? Freaking rain. It's supposed to rain at 7. That's according to my trusty iPhone weather app. It's one of the few things I like about the iPhone. Bug Gaze, what's happening, man? Mrs. Queen says, I like free. Don't we all? Well, we do. And there's been freaking crickets or cicadas just hanging out on my banister. Like there was one up here I had to kill, and there was one downstairs I had to kill. Because I am not about to let y'all see me go straight crazy because one of them big old things wants to climb on me. So I was like, you got to die, fam. I'm not going to shoo you away and you come back. You going to meet death today. So I killed it. And then I had to kill one downstairs. I don't know what they're like big old crickets. I don't know. Man, everything says I have 10 folding solar panels. Okay. That's interesting. Man, everything has this like system for buying panels and getting them and searching. Hey, today is a day of salvation. Sunny here in Arizona. Hey, ain't it always, right? It's not always. I used to think New York, whenever it snowed in New York, it came up to your like door, and it was always crazy. When I came up here, I was quite disappointed. I was like, oh, y'all just get this amount of snow? This is nothing. I want to see the door open and then the snow fall in. That's what I thought New York was. I didn't even think New York had summers, to be honest with you. It shows how stupid I was. Alpha says some panels are rated IP67, I believe, which typically means they can take driving rain but not submersion. That makes sense. Dean says it's been raining constantly in Arizona. Yeah, I've heard Hobotech talk about like monsoon season. Blood Gaze, I might get rained out again. It's certainly moving. It told me it was going to rain at 7, so it probably will. I tell y'all what, if it rains and I can come back, I will. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Oh, let me talk. Let's get back to the EcoFlow Max, which if some of y'all are late, oh, jeez, I got an EcoFlow Max. I talked about it. You're gonna have to rewatch the live to hear me talk about it, why I got it, and all that jazz. But something I do want to share with you is some notes that I made about the EcoFlow River Max. I was able to get the extra battery. So, I talked about that too. Oh, it is cool to have the higher capacity. Having the higher capacity obviously means I can run devices for longer, but it also gives me more grace to live within that like 40 to 80% because I have more capacity to use. I don't use a whole lot of power from it. I oftentimes find that my EcoFlow base model would be full unless I was intentionally drawing power from it. Um, it's rain. It's ominous. So I'm happy to have the bigger capacity for that reason, and it also gives me a lot of room to play within my percentages. And that's really it. That's all. That's all that I had as far as notes on the EcoFlow River Max. I'm happy to have it though. I am. It's cool. Wait. Somebody talking about something not biting. Man, look. Okay. Ban everything. Okay, one in is saying, why is your window blocked? Oh, back here? I don't know. I'm not sure. When we bought the house, it was like that. Um, I think that this was a flipped house. So there's a lot of patchwork stuff that you discover after you've lived in it for a while. We've been here for almost like 10 years, longer than 10 years actually. So it's annoying. Man, everything says cicadas will bite the crap out of you. That ain't nothing that big getting that close to me to bite me. Ban everything. I was actually just talking to somebody. I was on like a Bible study, um, which wasn't quite a Bible study. Bible studies need to be about Bible study, but that's another thing. It was like Sunday service light, Sunday sermon light. But I was telling them I'm from New Orleans, and I tell people like I don't consider New Orleans to be Louisiana. Louisiana is a whole different thing. New Orleans is like its own little thing. It's not the same as everywhere else, for sure. Darlene Ransom, with the EcoFlow Max power a heater or a mini fridge? A mini fridge, yes. A heater, a 200-watt heater, a 400-watt heater, a 500-watt heater, sure. It'll power it for a little bit. Um, Most heaters use 1500 watts and then 750 watts on low. I want to get one of those smaller heaters that uses 500 watts, but you typically can't do heat. People advise you not to do heat on power stations because it's just a power draw. It's a power suck. Ugh, katydids will draw blood. Ugh, jeez, that's terrible. Oh, okay, Ben corrected himself. No, not cicadas. Those green katydids. Those are the biters. That's crazy, man. I don't want no parts of that. Jamila says, "Are there anything I should be aware of concerning solar panels and portable power stations?" Well, yeah, there's lots. Mrs. Queen, I love Bible talk, Bible study. I'd be asking 1,000 questions. Okay, back to solar talk. I do the same thing. I do the same thing. I saw your cover. It says "Iron sharpens iron," which is a scripture thing. I thought that was cool. Alpha says, "Too bad they don't make appliances where you could hook up a solar panel directly to it. Just wishful thinking." Yeah, they can't. That's why you can't hook a solar panel directly up to a battery because the voltage varies so much. The voltage is also higher on the solar panel than it is on the battery. The voltage of a solar panel is also lower on a solar panel than it is from what we use. So, that's why, Will and other people have 48-volt systems, because the closer you get to our 120 volts, I would say the less work it has to do to boost up to 120 volts. And Will has a whole video about 12 volts versus 24 volts versus 48 volts. And he recommends 48 volts, but 48 volts is dangerous because, yeah, it's real life. That's half the power coming out of your socket pretty much. And you don't want to play around with that stuff if you don't know what you're doing. A propane heater says B3 for heat. I almost got one of those Mr. Buddy heaters. It was on sale on the marketplace. Actually, one went on sale again. But my only reservation is that they don't design those Mr. Buddy heaters to use the larger propane tanks. Like, you have to get an adapter and screw it on. I'm just like, I don't know anything about propane. I know it's safer than gas, but it's still pressurized gas in a canister, right? So I'm like, nah, here comes the rain. Freaking rain, man. It'd be more like August showers bring flowers. Climate change, global warming, whatever they want to call it. All right, guys. If I have to dip, that's what I'll have to do. But I've covered everything I wanted to talk about. I have my Go Labs. Nothing is outside. Nothing. I had the Go Labs outside that day. I had the Agwe folding panel, which I still need to test. It got drenched. And I had the Agwe power station out, but it was under this canopy, so it didn't get wet. Just watched a video on battery-less charge controller that ran power tools. What video, Eddie T? I feel like drop the link. Or try your best to drop a link. I know YouTube will block it, but I like battery-less systems. That's dope. Oh, another reason why you can't plug solar panels directly into stuff is because the power fluctuates. And that's not really good for a lot of things. You get some power, sometimes you don't get power. You can get refillable canisters. I mean, legally. I guess you're talking about propane. I just want the heater people to be like, okay, you can use this with a big tank. They don't really do that. You have to get like hoses and adapters, and it just seems like they want you to have to buy those little disposable propane tanks from like Walmart. And it's just like, I'm not into disposable stuff. I've never been into that. I've always liked reusable, rechargeable, renewable, all that jazz. Gary asked, Candace said it poured here in Lancaster. Is Lancaster Eastern or Western PA? Freaking PA is huge. Gary asked about the weight. I'm cool with the weight. It's going to go one place and stay there for the most part, unless our power goes out and I have to move it. Now, I don't know whether it'll end up on my ground floor or my basement. I'm leaning towards the basement because that has the largest power draw down there. I have my mini fridge down there, my deep freezer's down there. I also have a dehumidifier down there. I was like, dang, I could run a dehumidifier off of that. That's pretty much the same as running like an air conditioner, though, so it's going to run through that power. But I only run a dehumidifier for an hour at a time to get it below 60, because 60 is where mold forms. And basements are usually, we've had mold down there for sure. What do you think about the Super Base Pro? I don't know anything about it, Mr. Uno. Who? You know who? 420. I don't know anything about it. I may have seen it. Sometimes people recommend this stuff to me, or they ask me about it, and I'll go look at it briefly. But it's hard for me to like dig into the details when I probably wouldn't buy it. One, nobody has tested it. Two, it's just like, can you trust the company? So it's like at some point that becomes like a waste of time. It's like, I don't know. So a lot of them look good on paper. A lot of them look great on paper. LA Gun says the adapter works really well on the Buddy. I also have a small butane heater for quick emergencies. Put the AC200Max on a cart. Sorry, I'm in basket. Hey man, we say what we say. The hose is all you need for that heater. I dig it. But are you sure though? Maybe. The small 1 pound tanks are refillable, but you can only get 6. They are refillable, but they're not meant to be refilled. Actually, Hobotech has a video. I watch videos on it on refilling those tanks. Man, they talk about spraying when you're buying a used tank, spray water around it to make sure it's not leaking. That's just out of my league at this point. It's out of my league. You can get tank top heaters, but I'm not sure those are rated for indoor use. You can get the heater that goes on the big tank. Harbor Freight has some cheap. I don't know if I want something from Harbor Freight and cheap. I don't trust Harbor Freight all like that. Solar panels can directly power certain motors and pumps. Okay. I feel you. But okay. Okay, Eddie T says the Mr. Buddy heater just requires the right hose to connect to a full-size propane tank. Ran one last winter. Nice. Okay. I think you put one too many O's in that, Amy. Dehumidifier, did you say it's like an AC? I mean, it's like an AC in that it has a certain amount of power usage before the compressor kicks in. When the compressor kicks in, I did not say, what do you mean, Amy? I hate to be adversarial, but I'm looking at your letters and there's a B. So yeah, the dehumidifier uses a certain amount of power just for the fan, and then when the compressor kicks on to do whatever it does, dehumidify, it jumps up to like 1500 or 1300 watts. Oh yeah, Amazon didn't even let that through. That's the link to the batteryless system video. Miss Queen always got them eyes popping. All right, any other questions, guys? Oh, Mrs. Queen, you were telling me about the EcoFlow. You got the EcoFlow Pro for $580. That's a really good device. I like it. I'm a fan. You did good. The cheapest I've seen it is $550, but $580. The cheapest I've seen the EcoFlow base model that I have, which is now the Max because of the battery that I got, is $250, but I got it for $280. I was compelled at $280. I was like, oh, that's interesting, and I bought it because it usually was $299. So when it went down to $279, I was like, I could stomach that for what you get. Jamila, ask your question. Gary, are you getting the extra battery too? No, I am not. I would much rather have 2 than an extra battery. I don't care about extra batteries. It is nice that you can charge those batteries from I think you can charge them from both solar and the wall now if you buy the adapter. So 99, what's going on, sir? Oh, the rain is shifting. What was your question, Jamila, before I wrap it up? Lithium battery, and there is another one I heard. So lithium ion is one, and then lithium iron phosphate is another. Lithium ion is lighter. It's more volatile, and I say that kind of, just it's technically more volatile. But as long as you don't do anything crazy with the battery, just like anything, you wouldn't leave your cell phone on the dash of your car. You wouldn't leave it in a really hot or really cold place. You just take good care of it. You typically be okay unless you get a faulty device. Lithium iron phosphate is a heavier chemistry. It's also a safer chemistry, but it's less dense. And I don't know what that means, but people have told, I've watched videos about it. So it essentially means it can't hold as much power in the battery as lithium ion. So you need more of those batteries to have a comparable amount of power, which makes the power station or the battery itself heavier. Stacks, what's happening, my brother? I gave like 3 hours. Like I think 2 hours. 2 hours. I typically go live around 6 o'clock. So that you should, you know what I mean? Stacks, you get on the boat. You're welcome, Amy. Amy says thank you. Who'da thunk it? Northeast Ohio, what's happening? Got the AC200P, the EB240. Nice. Got 6 100-watt Renogy panels, trying to over panel a bit to maximize. Working on getting 10 more 100-watt Renogys to make the total 16. What you think? Oh, I'm over 100-watt panels in favor of 200-watt panels. Because you have 4 100-watt panels, you could run those in parallel, but this is where it gets tricky because you have to worry about cabling, sizing, and distance, and watts, not amps, and volts. It's all very compelling. But I wouldn't buy more 100-watt panels. Even if you had to, you could take those 4 100-watt panels, do something else with them, and just buy 5 200-watt panels from HUST or Rich Solar or New Power, or I think EcoWorthy has some that's kind of off my radar, but somebody mentioned it. Eddie T says less dense means fewer amp hours per pound. Boom. Just got home from work. I wonder if I move back, if that'll save me a little bit. Let me try that. Computer. Camera. Oh, come closer. It saved me a little bit. Stacks. I'm Pacific time. Oh yeah. You are on the West Coast. It's 4:12 here. I gotcha. I was just starting an hour later. The only thing is, wait, how long has this been? How long has it's been? An hour and 12 minutes. Okay, cool. The only thing is these can run a while, so bumping up until 8 o'clock is a bit tough for me. I need to make these shorter though. But we've got all of the information out that I wanted to get out. And now we just hanging out. So if the rain doesn't like push in, I'll probably hang out for another like 14, 18 minutes or so. Joe tried. I can relate to that. He says, once my wallet is a little more puffy, I'm going to add more rigid panels, maybe a couple 200 watts. All right. Jamila, you can also email me. My channel's not that big, so take advantage of reaching out directly. You know, I also use Telegram. You can also message me on Instagram. You can also message me on Facebook Messenger, all under Ask I've Solar. If you want to just have like a direct, just hit me up and ask questions kind of thing. I'm open to that. Thank you, my brother, for the super chat. Gary Dakota says, I got news for everyone here. Bluetti has no customer support to speak of. That's interesting. We shall see. I don't know if that's true necessarily of every experience, but I've heard some people complain about it. And by some, I mean like 3 in the Facebook group. But cautionary tale. Gary Dakota says Bluetti has no customer support to speak of. Now, Gary, tell us what your problem was. Oh, you called customer support and they couldn't even answer a question about wire gauge. Okay, so this is more incompetence than lack of existence. I gotcha. LiPo doesn't work below 32 degrees. I haven't seen that tested. That's interesting. I don't have to worry about temperature too much. Everybody who gets power stations, if you live in a place that deals with inclement weather, read your manual, see what your temperature range is. Ultimately, keep your power station in a situation that you would like to be in. You don't want to be freezing. You don't want to be super hot. That's a good way to go about it. Jamila, you're welcome. Thanks for sharing that email, Mrs. Queen. I appreciate you. How long do solar panels hold their charge? They don't hold the charge, Amy. Solar panels pass through the sun to a storage medium, which is a battery. Kimber Jack, I'm thinking hard about the AC200 Max, but would need to get a second income to offset the price. I dig that. 100%. No one's taking phone orders. This is a phantom company. If you have a problem, who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters. That was too easy. Forgive me. Shoot, my wire's stuck. B3, buy Bluetti from Walmart so you can return it. Bluetti is in Walmart? I don't think so, sir. JSSR, do you know if the Bluetti B230 will connect to the AC200P through the solar port or the AC port? That is a good question. I don't know, but let me try and deduce. That's a very good question, JSSR. I don't know. I'm not sure. I would hope that the AC200P. Does anybody? LA Gun has the AC200P. I'm assuming that it has to have a specialized port for that battery, because you need to be able to use both of those ports to charge both of those. You can't put it into the AC port and then switch it to another port. I'm trying to see if somebody can answer that. I almost have to assume that they have some type of expansion port on it. I do, but have the same questions. Oh, I got you, LA Gun. Ban everything. Do not buy the power banks with tiny solar panels on them. It takes a week to charge, and the heat off the sun damages the battery inside. I concur. It's not a good thing to do. Future layers, what's happening? It's an aviation port. What? Expound, please, sir or ma'am. Gardening with Eve R600 Max Pro good units, long as you use use cases within the specs. A power bank, what is that? It's a battery. Like you ever walk through like Walmart or something, and you see those little things that you could plug a USB port into and charge your phone with. That's a power bank. It's a battery with the ports that you can plug USB or 12-volt devices into, 5-volt devices typically. Gary says, I think this company is located out of the country, and is a skeleton company which only uses distribution centers in the US. I hear you, Gary. All right, Joe, enjoy that food and the company. '99 says, I feel comfortable with 3 100-watt rigid panels for my EcoFlow Pro. That's my comfort level. I'm good. I dig that. Yeah. 3 100-watt panels in parallel. So you have to buy a special cable to hook them up. And what the 300-watt gives 99 is a little more power, which will probably on a sunny day actually get him to 200 watts, the input that device can take. And it would give him a little more power on overcast days. So let's say you have one 100-watt panel. On a bright but overcast day, you may get about 10 to 15 watts. But if you have 3 panels in parallel, you'll get like 45 watts, which is a good time. If you're used to getting around 160 watts in, on a day when you could get 50 watts in, you're still doing okay. At least for me, it's all good. I got you, B3. He says Walmart.com, not the store. He was saying that in reference to buying a Bluetti device. So buy it from Walmart.com. That way, if you have an issue, you can return it to Walmart. JSSR. I'm curious about that. Drop a comment below this video after the live is done, and then if I figure out an answer, I'll reply to your comment and let you know. But you gotta be committed. You gotta do the work of dropping a comment, right? Yeah, I think YouTube doesn't like the word Amazon ban everything, so they're like, "Do you want to show this or not?" Future Layer says the AC200 connects to the extra battery through the solar port, the solar aviation port. That's interesting and unfortunate, Future, if that's true. Can you recommend a good power station over the Bluetti? I'm the Delta, but I was saying earlier in the live, Gary, that the problem with the AC200P, the AC200Max, not so much the AC300 because its competitor is the Delta Pro by EcoFlow. They don't have any company. Nobody's in that $2,000 mark, that $1,500 mark, $1,700. Nobody else is competing in that dollar. In my opinion, I'm not gonna buy a Jackery. You serious? Okay, who'd have thunk it? Given a competing opinion. I had a problem with my AC200P charging. Bluetti responded quickly, offered to replace the unit quickly. Then I found out it was my MC4 connection, but was happy about the service. Ban Everything has also talked to Bluetti about his EB70, and he got a replacement device because its charging capacity was faulty. I was telling you about that, MJ. MJ has a possibly a bad charger for her Bluetti, and her Bluetti's capacity may be weird. Gently Moving, the Jackery 300 is close to perfect. I love that little device. I don't own it. I just like it in theory. It's a cool little device. They got it right on that one. But that Jackery 1500 and 2000, they just threw out anything that was cool and ideal. It's a weird one. One of my lives has timestamps on it, Gently Moving, and I have a couple segments on Jackery. So you don't have to even watch the whole live. Just go to one of my earlier lives and look for the one with timestamps for the Jackery. You can even just look in the description and you can see what I have to say about that. LA Gun says, I'm getting the EcoFlow Pro for the $2,000 super early bird Kickstarter price. Yeah, the EcoFlow Pro is £100 though. And I definitely wasn't in the mindset of spending $2,000. But if I was, I would have gotten the Pro for $2,000 easy. Even if it is £100, I probably would have had some cause for pause because of the weight. Because I have a basement that I like to pull power in. So it's like, how many times are you gonna move that thing? I could deal with 60 pounds. Do you have a video, Jamila asks, of a list of solar panels and portable power stations brands you recommend? Not really. I would say just stick with the mainstream ones, but it depends on your needs. I bought the Go Labs off of the strength of some people's input from a group that I was in, and I liked the specs. I liked that it was LiPo. I bought a Rock Pals. Well, okay, let me put that into perspective. The Go Labs was $100 cheaper. It was $299. Remember, I was talking about that $1 per watt hour, but it was on sale. I had a coupon for $199. That's compelling to me. But you have to be careful with those coupons because a lot of times we see devices on sale for a good price and you don't know. Like, I had a bunch of variables lined up to lead me to be okay with that Go Labs. Like, there were people who actually owned it and vouched for it. They talked about the quirkiness as well. They did like tests in this group that I'm in. It's called Solar Power Free Talk, I believe, on Facebook. I bought a Rock Pals 300 off of the strength of a review that Solar Will did on it, where he compared a panel of portable power stations. He called them micro generators. If you want to find that video, Will Prouse, micro generators. It's outdated. None of those devices exist anymore outside of like maybe the Jackery 240, I believe. But the Rock Pals charged at the highest rate. It pulled in 80 watts at a time when no micro generator was pulling in that much power. So that didn't even compel me to buy that device. What compelled me is I saw one refurbished for $100 less than what it costs. Rockpal's devices are already cheaper, right? They're like a budget friendly brand, in my opinion. I compare them to compact computers. It's like they'll probably last you a long time, but a button will break, or the volume rocker won't work anymore, or your mouse click will be sticky or something like that. I had a port break on my Rock Pals, but it was already $269, which was cheaper than the $1 per watt hour, and I got a refurbished one from Amazon for $159. So it was like, again, I was compelled. So I kind of veer off the beaten path, but for certain things, I don't shake too much. Thanks, Eddie T, for answering that. What's Wayne talking about? Wayne, you're ridiculous if you're still here for that message. You're ridiculous, sir. Stacks, Silver Stacks Prepper says, man, this Bluetti AC200P is a banger. Now, I don't know what that means, Dundini. Get you one, I love it. Don't get an AC200P. The AC200P is a nice device, or in the words of Stacks, a banger. But you could get the AC200Max for the same price. So don't get an AC200P. I would not pay $1,600 for the AC200P. If that thing ever hit like, does anybody know what it went on sale for? Because there was a sale on it recently for Prime Day. Gardening with Eve, do you know anything about the Westinghouse? Somebody asked me about the Westinghouse. Westinghouse for me is a brand that is kind of like veering off the beaten path. I wouldn't buy it because my understanding is that their little power stations are not LifePo, and you could get an off the beaten path LifePo power station for the price of those Westinghouse power stations. Don't quote me on that, but that's my take. Is there any other power station that has a lithium iron phosphate battery? I assume that's what you mean, phosphorus, other than the Bluetti models. The Delta Pro does. Rockpals makes one that's always kind of on sale and cheap. But I just realized today, I was looking at it, it doesn't have watts in and out. That thing costs like $1,000, and it's often on sale for like $8.99 or $7.99, but it doesn't have some of the basic stuff, and it's ugly. Future Layers on Bluetti YouTube channel, they said you can connect the extra battery and charge the AC200 simultaneously, but I could be wrong. Yeah, it's like they may be like splicing words there, because you may, if it goes into the aviation port, which based on what you said, Future, is the solar port, then you will only be able to charge it through AC. Now, the AC200 Max has the ability to charge from solar on the AC port, but I imagine you have to have some type of an adapter, and I don't know if they include the adapter in the box. That's not as important to me. It'd be nice if they did, but I doubt that they would. JSSR says if it connects to the aviation plug, that's kind of essentially what I just said. Blood Gaze, I missed your okay, my first AC200P had a BMS issue and had to return it for a replacement. Support was Gently moving. Don't think I didn't catch you trying to call me on that Jackery comment. I do not have a P.O. box one in, but what I am doing is working on something. Dean Whittle says the Babine has LiPo in it, but it's not in stock. The last time I checked, it's in my cart. Not that I'm gonna buy it, but I put stuff in my cart so I can monitor price, because Amazon or these sellers be kind of trying to get out on you. I think Maybe it's because they have to sell them so cheaply to move them on Amazon that sometimes they put them up to what they're actually worth. But you can't tell me anything different. Gently moving says, got to keep you on your toes. That's one way to look at it. Email me at soloquestions@askive.com. And when I have something set up, I'll let you know. Gary says, sir, you are an excellent host. And give yourself some credit and read this, will you? Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. Will Prowse actually, I think he saw like my first live and he was like, you did a good job, buddy. I appreciate that. You know, Will's the GOAT. The rain, man. Rain was nice and easy. Nice and easy, cool. No tsunami level winds. That storm that happened last time, y'all, that was just like a preview. That night, man, it was cutting up. I felt like I was back in New Orleans, how windy it was. Trees was leaning and stuff. We lost power. And that, as y'all know, this was the first time I lost power in a while. Like, we very rarely lose power. We lost power that night. I had a lamp on. My wife was all, let me tell y'all how my wife got down. So somebody parked in our parking space, right? We don't have a parking space. It's just kind of unofficial, like street parking. But my wife is a stickler about, like, don't park in front of our house, especially if you're just visiting somebody. Give us space to park in front of our house. It's a whole thing. But so we lost power, right? And I put on like one of my little $10 Walmart fans. It uses about 40 watts on max, 25 watts on low. You should check those out, by the way. Who knows how long they're gonna last, but you know, $10 from probably from China. I call Walmart Little China. So she she was tight about that. Rightfully so. It was raining, and because that person was parked in front of our house, she had to park a little further down. She had all the kids with her, which is why I was able to continue to live downstairs. So she had to kind of get 4 kids out of the car pretty much in bad weather. It wasn't, I don't know if it was raining really hard at the moment, but once the power went out, she felt like she cracked our curtains so that people could see that we had power. She was feeling a little vindictive in that moment. So did Will say button? He always says he doesn't know how to pronounce things. It's so funny. He calls it the Titan, and he talks about the button. He makes fun of himself. Miss Queen says, I agree with wifey. I dig it. I agree with her too in principle, for sure. I don't necessarily think we're entitled to the spot in front of our house. I mean, I do, but it's like when you drive to someone's neighborhood, where do you park? You park in front of somebody's house. You know what I mean? So, but you know, my neighbors, they have a lot of friends, so, and they have a lot of cars too. They don't have a lot of cars, but they have space on the other side, and then we don't have space. We're in between 2 neighbors. So our parking spot, if it's taken, we essentially have to park down the street. So in Pittsburgh, where I'm at, there's like a unspoken rule that if you put a chair in your spot, people are not supposed to move your chair. So we start from time to time put a chair in our spot so that we can be able to park. And that's the Mrs. Ive story for the day. MJ, I saw that Will P comment. Yeah, it was cool. I like Will. I've said it before. I've talked with him personally a time or two on Instagram. It's a good dude. Thank you, James. James says, yes, you give good info. Thanks. Gemini, thank you so much. Professional and knowledgeable. I appreciate that. Al Smoking Tea, I'm just joining. I'm planning to get the AC200P. Why is the Max better? The Max is better at pre-order because you could get it for the same price as the AC200P. The Max is better because you can hook up one panel to it. It doesn't have that 45-volt kind of limitation where you have to run two panels in series to even charge it from solar. Oh, there's a rainbow. Look at that. It's a little light, but you can see it. There you go. It has a 100-watt power delivery port instead of a 60. That's important because computers charge over PD now, especially when you start to get into like buying a nicer computer. And the one staple that people always mention when they talk about the 100 watts is like a MacBook Pro. You can't, 60 watts is not going to be enough to charge it, I believe. I think you need the 100 watts. 60 watts may be enough to kind of like stop the floodgates of your power going, but it's not enough to charge it. You need that 100 watts. And it has some type of like RV port on it. I don't care about that. It has a better like 25 amp port on it. I don't care about that either. So it's a better device. It's a newer device, but with the same stuff inside. I don't know if it has a better inverter. I don't know if it's going to be more efficient. I don't know. I would hope that they would improve some of this stuff, but I don't know. But it's a better buy in that it's newer and you could get it for about the same price as the one costs now. Now, when the pre-order goes out, I don't know if you want to spend an extra $400 on a device for just a faster power delivery port. I don't know. And being able to charge from a single solar panel, I don't think that's worth $400. I don't think so. What do y'all think? Brother T and Frank, what's happening? Got my 12-volt refrigerator today and ordered a 30-quart on sale on Amazon. Yeah, I saw the video up. I don't care about refrigerators, but I'll play the video. I ain't gonna watch it because I don't care. Gary Dakota, personal question. I have my heart set on ordering that Bluetti AC200Max tomorrow. I'm concerned about that customer service. Would you take the chance? Well, I'm thinking about taking the chance. I'm thinking about ordering it. And yeah, I mean, what, like Facebook? I'm a YouTuber. Not that I have a whole lot of clout or anything, but it's like, I mean, there's multiple people on here who have talked to them, and Bluetti's working with them. I'm not necessarily concerned. I'm not pointing this at you, but I think sometimes people can be unreasonable in their expectations. I think sometimes people don't read the manual. Sometimes people don't do their research, and your expectations could be higher than what reality requires. So it's fine with me. B2 says putting traffic cones on your spot works. Don't ask me how I know. Facts. I dig that. Wayne says, look, there's a unicorn behind you. Did you see it? There's a rainbow. Heard the excitement in your voice. Oh, I'm a believer. So rainbows mean something for me. And it's freaking spectacular. Like, come on, man. After it rains, something appears in the sky that displays multiple colors. If you didn't know that was normal, you would think you were on freaking Saturn or something. Wayne, come on, man. Cut it out. Kimberjack says, not being able to take charge from a single panel is a major drawback for me. Otherwise, I'd look at the AC200P. Yeah. Now, you could get a single panel. It just has to be a 24-volt panel. And you could get those off of the marketplace. A lot of times, people are pulling panels down off of their home, and they sell them all the time. Today is a day of salvation. Jesus sure knows how to color beautiful. Bam. Are you worried that you may wait months for the AC200Max? Bluetti has already made a change for delivery up to 5 weeks now. I think it's worth the wait, considering that I'm gonna save $500 on it. Forgive me, I don't math very well on the spot. Modesto, hi brother, got the extra battery for the River 600 for $199. Do you think that was a good deal? I think that was a very good deal. I think that was a very good deal. Mine was $220. I wish it was $199, but someone was kind enough they were generous enough, so I was able to get it. So, good stuff. I actually talked to him. I was like, do you think we should wait till it's $199? It was just $20 though. But I think like that. Brother Bob, what's happening? The AC200 Max also has a companion app. That's another pro. I don't consider that a pro, but it is. It does have an app that you can use to monitor what's going on. If the device goes in my basement, that is a good plus. I think it's Bluetooth. Wayne was telling me it's Bluetooth too. Do you guys know? Because I don't. Wayne, look, there's a unicorn. It's funny. 2000 on the Pete. Alpha Hall says Bluetti ships fast, but customer service has to be done through emails. You can only speak to Bluetti technical support on the phone. Customer service, okay. Customer service is done through emails. You can only speak to technical support on the phone. I'm dealing with that right now. I gotcha. Bloodgaze is talking to Gary, but he says I've talked to support, EcoFlow, Bluetti, Jackery, and they are all roughly the same. About a week or two to get replacements and have to wait about 10 to 12 emails. And you have to have about 10 to 12 emails back and forth. There you go. Boom. Stacks, $5 for the kiddos. Hey, Gary says it's Wi-Fi, not Bluetooth. I saw Bluetooth somewhere. VM says God's promise. That's what that rainbow means. And people, yeah, it's like, I get it. I'm an extremely logical guy. I understand why people don't believe. I get it. But, you know, it is what it is. Hey, Gilbert, what's happening? Got my EB55 yesterday, and my HQST also was timing it for the charge rate and wattage, but forgot because it was okay. Was timing it. Okay. I think I get what's going on. You just had to do some work and couldn't mess around. Hey, Lisa, new to all of this, but it seems like the other day everyone was just talking about the Bluetti 1500. Is it apples and oranges to the AC200 Max? Yeah, it was like about 18 months ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. The Bluetti, it's really called the EB150, but it's a 1500 watt hour device, so it was confusing. Yeah, that was all the rage about 2 years ago. It had a 1000 watt inverter, both the 150, the EB150, and the EB240. So when the AC200 came out and it had that 2000 watt inverter, that was kind of a game changer because you could power more household devices off of that. Hey, baby, what you got to say? I feel like just say it off camera. You can afford to come out though. I think. I should be wrapping this up in a second. How long is it? Ooh, we 12 minutes over. Why y'all got me talking an extra 12 minutes? All right, I'll be done soon.
First thing you need to do is you owe me a slushie.
Oh, my wife told me I owe her a slushie. So yeah, I went to get her a slushie one night. It was late. It wasn't super late, but I was thinking I'm gonna be able to slide in. I'm an introvert. I don't like to be around people a whole lot. I'm, I hate to say it, but I don't want to sound elitist, but because it's not really that. But that gas station draws, in some ways, a certain crowd, and I don't like to be around that crowd. So I went in there thinking I was gonna be able to skate in. It's dark, but man, it was popping out there. So now she's trying to send me back to the freaking store to get her one of these little high fructose corn syrup drinks she likes. But I'm gonna do it. You know, she's kind to me. I will be kind to her. Gary Zoltz Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on the AC300. That AC300 is heavy, man. It's 74 pounds. No, it's 44 pounds without even adding a battery. And then the battery is like 70 pounds. So I'm not in New Orleans, Bob. I'm from New Orleans. Yeah, that thing is heavy. What's going on, Rick? Good to see you. Let me see what I missed talking to the missus. Thanks, Stacks. I appreciate it. I don't know if I said thank you. YouTube won't give me my coin. Now, YouTube takes a cut. This is what it is. but they haven't given me one joint yet. I don't know enough about how it works, but my wife is like, you better give me that money that them people gave to the kiddos. And I'm like, okay, well, when I get it, you got it. For better or worse, and for slushies. Basically, she was here. She'd get a kick out of that. Hey, Gilbert. Bob says, a promise to not destroy the world with water, but with fire and brimstone. Just saying. That's true. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. As a, I get it. I get it. I still believe though. Want to look for another power station? Hard to find what I want with so many options. Mrs. Queen said, God did it. Rainbows. Now you sounding like Will P. Oh man, I watched the video you did on the flexible flat solar panel. Any info on it durability wise? It is not a rigid panel, so it's not made to last forever. It is going to degrade at some point. I think flexible and folding panels are for temporary use. You deploy them and you undeploy them. So Solar Will, aka Will Prowse, he does not like flexible panels. Yeah, flexible panels. He just feels like the quality does not hold up over time. The output does not hold up over time. He says you get really good output in his experience initially, and then after a while, like 6 months, it degrades. He thinks some power cells are some of the best to have in a flexible panel, but even then I think he said they'll last you about 5 years, which is fine. I never even think about those panels in terms of lasting me that long. Honestly, I don't. Okay, I think I'm caught up. If I missed anybody, what's going on, 2%? Kathy says, love him and leave him. What you talking about? All I can think about is the Rick James song when I read that. Future, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Gary laughed at the high fructose corn syrup comment. Everyone should send it to my Cash App. Yeah, I'm not going to tell people how to give, but nobody gets a cut of that Cash App but Mrs. I, so she don't even get a cut. Just say it. You can't stand foldable panels. It's not that I can't stand them. I don't live a lifestyle that is conducive to spending $2 per watt, sometimes $2.50 per watt on a panel that I'm barely gonna use. Rainbow's banging now. It's out there. Joe Rogan, he was talking to somebody, and he was like, people drive to the Grand Canyon to basically look at a hole in the earth. And he's like, if you didn't know that some of the stuff existed around you, you would be like floored by the fact that sharks exist. Like, he's like, people are like looking at the ground. That's interesting. I just found an ETFE coated folding panel, 100 watt with some power cells that looks like the $300 for it. It probably doesn't have some power cells in it. I hate to say that, ban everything, but I doubt it. It may be the style of panel, but yeah. Eddie T said, I bought a 700 watt microwave. Hobotech had a smaller microwave, and when he tested it, it used more than 700 watts. He said the inverter wouldn't run it. My 1,000 watt Honda generator wouldn't run it, so it must surge pretty high at the start. Ulysses, another great show. Thank you. Be careful out there. We need you. Yeah, man, I gotta be careful. The crazy thing is that gas station, it is cool, but the gas station like across the street, I will never go to. It's just one of those places. I'm just like, nah. I was buying something off of the marketplace, and somebody was like, yeah, you know that gas station right there about a dip? And I was like, yeah. He was like, can we meet there? I was like, no, we cannot meet there. Let's meet at the other gas station. Folding panels have their use and solid panels do too. Get both. Yeah, Oklahoma was on here. She had an EB 150 and she had a folding panel and a rigid panel, and she a rigid 100-watt Renogy. She was like, should I get another folding panel or should I get a rigid panel? I felt like because she had a folding panel, she has a portability covered, she might as well get another rigid panel, and then she doesn't have to worry about them being deployed out in the elements. And when she wanted to boost that on a sunny day, she could go out there with that 100-watt folding panel, put them all into series. Don't quote me on that because I don't know about that voltage, but it should work. And then rock out. And then when it's weather, just unplug it, reconnect your chain, and then let them two panels just sit out there. So instead of having two folding panels that you constantly have to monitor, constantly have to pull back in if it starts to rain and something like that, I just felt like that was the ideal situation. Too bougie RV. I'm too bougie for folding panels. I think you got that wrong, Wayne. Folding panels cost way more money. So if anything, y'all folks buying the folding panels is bougie because I don't have that coin. I need the workhorse, rigid. You know what I mean? Out, rain, sleet, hail, snow, all of that. All right. Let's summarize. AC200Max pre-order is tomorrow. It is on Pacific time. Whatever. No respect on my Eastern. You know what I mean? Oh, it's a double rainbow. Nice. How about that? Yeah, Wayne, I'm noticing the double rainbow. I got the extra battery for this. If you want to know, start the video over. Video starts at about 12 minutes. My HQST 190-watt panel, they dropped the ball. Hopefully it'll come to me sometime before the economy collapses and we go into chaos and all that jazz. And that's all. Hey, Susie, we shutting it down. Let me look at my timer. Shutting it down. 152. Dang, man, 10 minutes went by that fast. Now I gotta go get a slushie. The world is a million mysteries. That's for sure. All right, folks, it's been real. Y'all be beautiful. Until next time. Cash App. Stacks, thank you for the coins. I appreciate that. I'll see you guys later. Everybody says peace. I think that's so corny on YouTube. Peace. It's just like, shut up. I'm going to end it there.